It's all-you-can-eat fish on Fridays. And remember to try their barbecue ribs. Visit sevendwarfsrestaurant.com today.
There's a hidden gem in Elgin's South End. It harkens back to the days when going to a diner with family and friends was where everybody gathered for a delicious breakfast or lunch. Ray's Family Restaurant at 801 St. Charles Street in Elgin is a diner that you'll love with tasty food. The atmosphere and the staff are friendly and fast. They're open until 3 p.m. daily. You can never go wrong with Ray's. Visit raysfamilyrestaurant.com. That's raysfamilyrestaurant.com.
I'm the one that they're singing about. Yeah, I'm the Stars and Stripes forever. Star Spangled Banner. You can call me Old Glory, but let's just keep it simple. Just call me Flag. Oh, say, can you see? Okay. Little flag humor. Well, you probably don't recognize me. You say, who is that, Evel Knievel? No way. Yeah, you see, you can't recognize me because
I'm in my birthday suit, yes.
I'm wearing the original 13 here. Yeah. I remember Miss Betsy sitting there going,
oh, this could be the start of something big. Whoa. Oh, Tom, don't be a pain.
yes. I was born June 14th, 1777. That makes me a Gemini. I'm kind of unpredictable, crazy. Yes, I like the outdoors, and I'm the life of any party, whether it be Republican, Democrat, Independent, Socialist, anything libertarian, I'll be there. You know, I'm 204 years old. People say, Flag, how do you stay so young? Is it jogging? No. Is it tennis? No. It's waving. You know, we're talking about billowing, furling, and unfurling. Richard Simmons, eat your heart out. Yeah, but it hasn't always been easy for me, though. I had a tough puberty. Yeah, war, famine, invasion. And 1861, well, I had a little skin problem that broke out into 34 stars. But now, well, little patience, and look what we got now. Look at this. Hold on here. Ha-ha! Ha-ha! Everybody's on here. Look at this. Alaska. Hawaii. Yeah, we got your Tennessee. How are you doing today? Here's Vermont. You can't get there from here. Oh, and there's California. For sure, totally. Yes, like I said before, you know, I had a tough time for a while. I've been in a lot of wars. They fired missiles and muskets at me, but you know, come the dawn's early light, I'm still there. You know what I'm talking about? And you know, I've been made into everything from designer jeans to T-shirts, and I've even been a cape for Mick Jagger. Well, all right, the Rockets red glare, well, all right. But people haven't always been respectful to me. Sometimes it's been tough. There have been some people try and spit on me, trample me, burn me. Foreigners and occasionally some Americans too, but I don't let it get me down because I'm not a stay-at-home kind of flag. You know, I've been to Europe. I've been to both North and South Pole. I was at Iwo Jima. Recently, I've even been to the moon. You see me in all sorts of different postures. When I'm like this, that means everything's okay. When I'm upside down, well, put on your Mae West and hit the deck. But when I'm like this, well, that's not my favorite position because, well, that's half-mast. I don't mean to bum you out. I didn't come here to depress you. But I got to tell you something honestly. I haven't been getting out much lately. I guess it's not very chic to put up the flag anymore, you know. Muffin and I have a flag, but we haven't found it for very long. Hey, but look at it this way. Don't look at it as saluting me. Look at it as saluting yourselves. You know, hey, I'm just a flag, a symbol. You're the people. If I may say so from here, long may you wave.
Obviously, the great Robin Williams bringing you into Out to Lunch today. That was a great act that he did on either Flag Day or Independence Day, one of those two things. And yeah, I mean, who doesn't miss Robin Williams? What an absolute gem. Growing up in the 90s, like, just a hero. And so always to be remembered. And Dean just walked through the studio and said, I cried when Robin Williams died, and I did too. It was, man, just super sad. But you know what? It's a celebration of life, all of his content, and not trying to start on a downer. That's not what Robin Williams would have wanted, and nor what he was all about. So just a tribute fitting to the holiday weekend here. I hope you're enjoying it. The time off, the cold beverages, the being with your friends and family, and the ability to be dissentful, and not have a king, and just independence. That's what it's all about. Obviously, it's like I think we talked about last week. People argue over ice cream out on the streets. So for some reason, it's a contentious issue. It shouldn't be. I hope everybody's enjoying their time. I hope they enjoyed the live stream of the Elgin Parade yesterday. We saw all the great people going down, representing Elgin and the surrounding communities. As we said, it's such a popular parade and well-done parade that communities come from around surrounding areas to be in this parade. The Jesse White tumblers were there, so you know it's legit. And yeah, it was just a great time. Despite it being super hot, I had a great time. I was very relieved that the stream went well. We got great footage. Saw everybody come through. I got a freeze pop, so that was great. And today we're just going to kind of, do what we normally do on Out to Lunch and inform you about what's going on in Elgin. And just, kind of talk about whatever is going on during the week. And obviously, it is a nice slow week for people in most circles. Get some time off work, be with family. If you're not, get on through it and get to pay to your day off and enjoy your time then, because it's a sentimental thing. So yeah, things happen. As far as, you got to work holidays. You don't have to tell me, being that I'm in radio and I've always been in kind of a media or service industry role. You gotta work a lot of holidays, and holidays, weekends. You miss stuff. You miss birthdays, all that stuff. But you're doing it for a reason, and remember those reasons, and keep doing it. So there you go. Get through all the stuff that you don't want to necessarily get through, because you have reasons. Everybody has their reasons. My reason for today's show, we're going to have some fun, and we're going to talk about one of the founding fathers you don't hear too often. It's kind of like a cool bro type of opinion, to be like, oh yeah, my favorite founding father is Thomas Paine, because he wrote Common Sense, which, as I said before, there's a lot of contentious feelings about the founding fathers and all of, that stuff. But at the end of the day, it's history, So there's facts, and we're here to observe them. One fact is that Thomas Paine wrote the 46-page pamphlet Common Sense, and I'm just going to go ahead and read some of that for our listening audience. Just because I'm one of those bros who thought this was a kind of cool thing. And regardless of what your politics are, the man spoke truth. And maybe that's why he was kind of left off the list of founding fathers. So, without further ado, Common Sense, the origin of design and design of government in general, with concise remarks on the English Constitution. So it starts like this. Some writers have confounded society with government, as to leave little or no distinction between them, whereas they are not only different, but have different origins. Society is produced by our wants, and government by our wickedness. The former promotes the happiness positively, by uniting our affections, the latter negatively, by restraining our vices. The one encourages intercourse, the other creates distinctions. The first is a patron, the last is a punisher. Society in every state is a blessing, but government, even in its best state, is but a necessary evil. In its worst state, an intolerable one. For when we suffer or are exposed to the same miseries by a government, which we might expect in a country without government, our calamity is heightened by reflecting that we furnish the means by which we suffer. Government, like dress, is the badge of lost innocence. The palaces of kings are built on the ruins of the bowers of paradise. For were the impulses of concise, clear, uniform, and irresistibly obeyed, man would need no other lawgiver. But that not being the case, he finds it necessary to surrender up a part of his property to furnish means for the protection of the rest. And this he is induced to do by the same prudence which in every other case advises him, out of two evils to choose the least. Wherefore, security being the whole design and end of government, is unanswerably follows that whatever form thereof appears most likely to ensure it to us, with the least expense and greatest benefit, is preferable to all others. In order to give a clear and just idea of the design of the end government, let us suppose a small number of persons settled in some sequestered part of the earth, unconnected with the rest. They will then represent the first peopling of any country, or of the world. In this state, natural liberty. Society will be their first thought. 1,000 motives will excite them thereto. The strength of one man is so unequal to his wants, and his mind so unfitted for perpetual solitude, that he is soon obliged to seek assistance and relief of another, who in his turn requires the same. 4 or 5 united would be able to raise a tolerable dwelling in the midst of a wilderness, but one man might labor out the common period of life without accomplishing anything. When he had felled his timber, he could not remove it, nor erect it after it was removed. Hunger in the meantime would urge him of his work, and every different want call him a different way. Disease, nay, even misfortune, would be death. For though neither might be mortal, yet either would disable him from living, and reduce him to a state in which he might rather be said to perish than to die. Those are the first 2 paragraphs of Common Sense. We'll come back to that in a little while. If you're liking this, enjoying yourself on this holiday weekend, or maybe you hate this and you're not enjoying yourself on this holiday weekend, go ahead and give me a call, 847-931-1410. We hope you're enjoying yourself and this program. If not, I'm sorry, but this is what we're doing on Out to Lunch today. There's a bunch of fun events and things coming up too. Go ahead and check out our live stream of the parade yesterday if you missed it. We're talking about a whole bunch of stuff. We got AFR Fest coming up, America's First Responders Fest, which is a awesome concert and everything that we're putting on at Palos Park, or not Palos Park, but that's Lake Zurich. Either way, okay, so here is our lineup here for the station, just so everyone knows what we're doing, what we're playing here on Saturdays. I'll give you some. They got my one sheets here. Gonna talk. Oh, and also check us out on YouTube if you want to see. We started out with that Robin Williams stand-up bit. A lot of it was physical type of comedy. So yes, worth giving us a like and subscribing on YouTube. We have a bunch of fun every day on Out to Lunch. So go ahead and like and subscribe, and you could chill with us in that regard. Saturdays on WRMN, you start with Coast to Coast with George Nuri, midnight to 4 a.m. Fox News Rundown from 4 to 5 a.m. if you're up that early. Good News Health from 5 to 7 a.m. Las Mañanitas from 7 to 8 a.m. The best of WRMN or radio shopping show from 8 to noon. Four Corners with Bill Pellerinos, 12 to 1 p.m. This is Saturday. Rich on Tech with Rich DeMuro, 1 to 4 p.m. This weekend with Michael Brown, 4 to 7 p.m. Branson Country USA, 7 to 8 p.m. And Somewhere in Time with Art Bell from 8 p.m. to midnight. So check out our Saturday lineup coming up tomorrow, or I guess tonight, really, which is awesome. Gotta love the radio. And I know we got a lot of old school radio listeners and lovers out there, AM radio. If you would like to take us places where you can't reach the signal, you can go ahead and type in WRMN Radio wherever you get your apps, and you can download our app. Then whenever you're connected to data, maybe you got a 5G phone, maybe you got just the regular 4G, maybe you're 3, maybe you're rocking 2G, you can probably still pick us up. And just search WRMN Radio, you'll find our app. And also, if you go on YouTube, you can see us at WRMN Radio, youtube.com/@WRMN Radio. Or if you just search WRMN Radio, go to our channel, you could hit the little like and subscribe button. It'll give you a notification every time we go live. So that's cool. And again, we're celebrating independence, which is a beautiful thing. And in doing so, I am reading some of Common Sense from one of the founding fathers' friends of the founding fathers, Thomas Paine. Okay. Thus, necessity, like a gravitating power, would soon form our newly arrived emigrants into society, the reciprocal blessings of which would supersede, and render the obligations of law and government unnecessary, while they remained perfectly just to each other, but as nothing but heaven is impregnable to vice. It will unavoidably happen, that in proportion as they surmount the first difficulties of emigration, which bound them together in a common cause, they will begin to relax in their duty and attachment to each other, and this remissness will point out the necessity to establish some form of government to supply the defect of moral virtue. Some convenient tree will afford them state house, under the branches of which the whole colony may assemble to deliberate on public matters. It is more than probable that their first laws will have the title only of regulations, and be enforced by no other penalty than public disesteem. In the first Parliament, every man by natural right will have a seat. But as the colony increases, the public concerns will increase likewise. And the distance at which the members may be separated will render it too inconvenient for all of them to meet on every occasion as at first. When their number was small, their habitations near, the public concerns few and trifling, This will point out the convenience of their consenting to leave the legislative part to be managed by a select number of chosen from the whole body, who are supposed to have the same concerns at stake which those have who appointed them, and who will act in the same manner as the whole body would act, were they present. If the colony continues to increase, it will become necessary to augment the number of representatives, and the interest of every part of the colony may be attended to. It will be found best to divide the whole into convenient parts, each part sending its proper number, and that the elected might never form to themselves an interest separate from the electors. Prudence will point out the propriety of having elections often, because the elected might by the means resume and mix again with the general body of the electors in a few months. Their fidelity to the public will be securing by the prudent reflection of not making a rod for themselves, and as a frequent interchange will establish a common interest with every part of the community. They will mutually and naturally support each other, and on this, not on the unmeaning name of king, depends the strength of a government and the happiness of the governed. Here then is the rise and origin of government, namely a mode rendered necessary in the inability of moral virtue to govern the world. Here too is the design and end of government vis-a freedom and security. And however our eyes may be dazzled with show or our ears deceived by sound, however prejudice may wrap our wills or interest darken our understanding, the simple voice of nature and reason will say, "'Tis right." So yeah, again, resetting here, reading Thomas Paine's Common Sense, something that's not super common these days. Common Sense. How about that? If you'd like to give us a call or comment on YouTube at WRMN Radio, feel free. We'll read your comments after these quick commercial announcements. I'm Ben Boquist. Thanks so much for watching, listening. You're listening to WRMN, 75-year history. WRMN. It's cool. We're going to be celebrating later. Check us out. Check out our AFR Fest. And again, thanks for listening. We'll be back in just a few.
Attention all burger enthusiasts and game aficionados. Celebrate a century of excellence at Mott's Lounge, proudly serving the community for 100 years under 5 generations of passionate ownership. Sink your teeth into our hand-pressed fresh burgers bursting with flavor, crafted just the way you like them. And while you're here, enjoy our exclusive drink specials, perfect for toasting to our milestone anniversary. Plus, challenge your luck with our state-of-the-art gaming machines, adding an extra thrill to your visit. Join us at Mott's Lounge and be a part of history in the making. Here's to another century of great food, fun, and memories. Mott's Lounge, where every visit is a celebration. For more information, visit us online at mottslounge.com.
Good wine and food bring people together. Vine and Plate Wine Bar and Provisions serves globally inspired plates and wines from around the world, bringing people together and creating moments that focus on what life is all about. Vine and Plate offers shared plates, flatbreads, sandwiches, and salads. You can choose wines from everywhere, and there's an extensive whiskey list too. Ingredients matter. Quality matters. Every detail matters. Visit thevineandplate.com today.
American Legion Post 57 in Elgin, Illinois presents Legion Cruise Nights. Wednesdays, May 8th, June 12th, July 10th, August 14th, and September 11th from 5 to 8 p.m. Come out and enjoy a great evening of cars, food, and music. Motorcycles, cars, trucks, military vehicles are all welcome. 50/50 raffles, door prizes. The event being sponsored by the American Legion Riders Post 57, 820 North Liberty Street in Elgin, Illinois.
Let me tell you a story about Bill. Bill was a normal guy in his 50s. He had back surgery about 2 years ago. Bill was in a lot of pain. He dealt with his pain by taking the Percocets his doctor prescribed for him. Bill took more and more and more of them to help with the pain, until one day the prescriptions weren't enough to get rid of Bill's pain. Then one day Bill found someone to help him get rid of the pain with illegal drugs he didn't need a prescription for. Fast forward to today. Bill lost his job and his family. The only thing he does have is his drug dealer. If you know Bill's story and you don't want to end up like Bill, call the Detox and Treatment Helpline right now to get away and get treatment.
800-694-1127. 800-694-1127. 800-694-1127. Call right now. Help is standing by. 800-694-1127.
A dream that's been cooking for years, Maria's Little Italy in Sycamore is waiting for you to come and enjoy authentic recipes handed down for generations. Stop in and enjoy bruschetta, handmade focaccia bread, pizza, pasta, sandwiches, and more. Dine in, take out, delivery, or catering is all available. Go to mariaslittleitaly.com and see what you've been missing. From their family to yours, welcome to Maria's Little Italy, where food brings families together.
We are Lions International, the world's largest service organization. We are volunteers committed to strengthening our communities and supporting those in need, one act of kindness at a time. For more than a century, Lions have been serving a world in need, right here in our community and around the world. Lions International makes the impossible possible. This is your invitation to join us, because the only thing missing from our mission to make a difference is you. Visit lionsclub.org to find a local Lions Club near you.
And we're back on Out to Lunch, and you're out to lunch with yours truly, Ben Boquist. How's it going, guys? Give me a call, 847-931-1410, if you're so inclined. If not, it's all good. I understand. You're going through a holiday weekend. It's hot. You're just trying to cool off and have the AC on. Maybe just be relaxed by the dulcet tones of yours truly, Ben Boquist. And I don't blame you for that. And I'll talk your ear off. But, I'll also listen. The big part that people are missing out on is listen. I feel like a lot of conversations I have, it's just like, you're talking and then someone responds with something completely irrelative, not relative to what you said, and you just kind of each keep fighting back and forth with like points you're making. And that's not a conversation. That's two monologues happening. And for a dialogue, you got to kind of like work with each other and, consider what the person said. And then you work on that to think of something else. And maybe it's a little bit of a compromise, a conversation. That's how I think, at least. And, common sense, it's kind of important. Speaking of common sense, and holiday weekends, it's Independence Day weekend, pretty much the best week of summer for any reason, from having time off to Freezy Pops to getting ready for AFR Fest at WRMN that we're throwing, which is going to be awesome. Going to have another great festival in time. And it's going to be amazing. There's going to be food vendors. There's going to be a car show. There's going to be a 5K. There's going to be bands, awesome event Marky B's putting on. And it's just going to be a super fun time. We're going to be live streaming. It'll be on the radio, on YouTube. So you can watch the radio now. How about that, guys? Tell your grandkids that we can watch the radio. We are living in the future. Gotta love it. So back to common sense. Here it is, paragraph 7 or something. I don't know. Actually, just to shout this out, you could read the whole 46-page pamphlet. This is page 7. 46-page pamphlet, Common Sense, if you're into old literature. in its history, obviously people were bad back then. Bad dudes were bad dudes. And, if you were famous, you're probably really bad. If people remember you now, there's probably some quote-unquote skeletons in the closet, which, to bring it back to today's society, it's like that's what RFK seems to be like running on, that he's got a bunch of skeletons in his closet. I don't know what made him focus on that, but either way, I hope we get all that stuff figured out, but not trying to be all divisively political here. On Out to Lunch, we're just talking about topics that, you'd talk about, like Common Sense, the Thomas Paine 46-page pamphlet that came out in 1776 or thereabout, probably a little before. I don't know the history so much, but you can find it on Wikipedia. You can find the whole thing on Wikipedia. Go and just dig a little bit. Literally, you go to Google Common Sense. It'll take you to Wikipedia page. Click on the Common Sense blue link, and it'll take you right to the 46-page pamphlet. It's really cool and a piece of history. So in resuming that, we'll start with page 7. All right, and we read this little part before, but we'll start earnestly on page 7. Here, then, is the rise of origin of government, namely a mode rendered necessary by the inability of moral virtue to govern the world. Here, too, is the design and end of government, viz., freedom and security. And however our eyes may be dazzled with the show or ears deceived by the sound, however prejudice may warp our wills or interest darken our understanding, the simple voice of nature and reason will always say, "'Tis right." I draw my idea of the form of government from a principle in nature which no art can overturn, viz., that the more simple anything is, the less liable it is to be disordered, and the easier repaired when disordered. And with this maxim in view, I offer a few remarks on the so much boasted Constitution of England. That it was noble for the dark and slavish times in which it was erected, is granted when the world was overrun with tyranny. The least removed therefrom was a glorious rescue, but that is imperfect, subject to convolutions, and incapable of producing what it seems to promise, is easily demonstrated. Absolute governments, through the disgrace of human nature, have this advantage with them, that they are simple. If the people suffer, they know the head from which their suffering springs. Know likewise the remedy, and are not bewildered by a variety of causes and cures. But the Constitution of England is so exceedingly complex that the nation may suffer for years together, without being able to discover in which part the fault lies. Some will say in one, some in another, and every political physician will advise a different medicine. I know it is difficult to get over local or long-standing prejudices, yet if we will suffer ourselves to examine the component parts of the English Constitution, we shall find them to be the base remains of two ancient tyrannies, compounded with some new republican materials. First, the remains of the monarchical tyranny, in the person of the king. Secondly, the remains of aristocratical tyranny, in the persons of the peers. Thirdly, the new republican materials, in the persons of the commons, on whose virtue depends the freedom of England. Or you could replace it with America, The two first, by being hereditary, are independent of the people. Wherefore, in the constitutional sense, they contribute nothing towards the freedom of the state. To say that the Constitution of England is a union of three powers reciprocally checking each other is farcical. Either the words have no meaning or they are flat contradictions. To say that the Commons is a check upon the king presupposes two things. First, that the king is not to be trusted without being looked after, or, in other words, that a thirst for absolute power is the natural disease of monarchy. Secondly, that the commons, by being appointed for that purpose, are either wiser or more worthy of confidence than the crown. But as the same constitution which gives the commons a power to check the king, by withholding the supplies, gives afterwards the king the power to check the commons, by empowering him to reject their other bills. It again supposes that the king is wiser than those whom it already supposed to be wiser than him. A mere absurdity. There is something exceedingly ridiculous about the composition of monarchy. It first excludes a man from the means of information, yet empowers him to act in cases where the highest judgment is required. The state of a king shuts him from the world, yet the business of a king requires him to know it thoroughly. Wherefore the different parts, by unnatural opposing and destroying each other, prove the whole character to be absurd and useless. Some writers of the English Constitution, thus the king say they is one, the people another. The peers of a house on behalf of the king of the commons, behalf of the people. But this hath all the distinctions of a house divided against itself. And though the expressions by pleasantly arranged, yet when examined, they appear idle and ambiguous. And it will always happen that the nicest construction that words are capable of, when applied to the description of something that which either cannot exist or is too incomprehensible to be within the compass of description, will be words of sound only. And though they may amuse the ear, they cannot inform the mind. For this explanation includes a previous question, vis-a-vis, how came the king by a power which people are afraid to trust, and always obliged to check? Such a power could not be the gift of a wise people, neither can any power which needs checking be from God. Yet the provision which the Constitution makes suppose such a power to exist. But the provision is unequal to the task. The means either cannot or will not accomplish the end, and the whole affair is a felo de se. For as the greater weight will always carry up the less, and as all the wheels of the machine are put in motion by one, it only remains to know which power of the Constitution has the most weight, for that will govern, and through the others, or part of them, may clog it. Or the phrase is, check the rapidity of its motion. Yet so long they cannot stop it, their endeavors will be ineffectual. The first moving power will at last have its way. And what it wants in speed is supplied by time. Again, this is Thomas Paine, Common Sense, that we're reading here. You can find it on Wikipedia. It's pretty cool. It's Thomas Paine, one of the founding fathers' friends, who is not necessarily a founding father, but so he was he lived in England and was immigrated to the Americas around the time of the Revolution, thanks to Ben Franklin, and then he wrote this pamphlet, which inspired a lot of people to go and get their independence from England. And yeah, here we are, so many years later, so many problems. Maybe it's one of those things where people always get caught up on who said this, where are they from, what are their politics, what's their angle, kind of thing. And to me, the man's just spitting truths, spitting facts. I would have liked to have a beer with Tom Paine. So, yeah, there's that. If you have a differing thought, opinion of the same variety, let me know. We're at 847-931-1410. And yeah, we're everywhere. As far as internet, we've got good Facebook pages, YouTube channels, all that stuff. Got all the bunch of ways you could listen and be here, critique me, hopefully constructively. I hope you're just not trying to rip me down, but either way, I hope you're enjoying this edition of Out to Lunch, where we're reading Thomas Paine's Common Sense, which you can find on Wikipedia and read the whole 46-page pamphlet to yourself, which it is, yeah, it's pretty cool. We'll probably bring this back into short segments. But for the time being, I just want to thank you. Wish everybody a happy Independence Day weekend. Hope you got a bunch of good family time and time out in the heat, time in the sun, and also time in the shade and time decompressing, rehydrating, getting that air conditioning, and just loving yourself, loving your family, and maybe loving a little bit of WRMN too. So thanks so much for listening to Out to Lunch with yours truly, Ben Boquist. We'll be back in about 4 minutes.
WRMN has been serving Elgin and the Fox Valley for 75 years, featuring a combination of local news, information, and entertainment in the mornings, followed by the radio shopping show for 5 hours each weekday. The first shift with Marky B starts your morning at 6 a.m., and it's always fun when Larry Jones is a part of the show.
Maybe we need to get a radio intern in to help.
Maybe so.
Somebody that you won't have to pay and you can treat them tough.
I can haze them.
Can't haze. You'll get fired. Remember that guy from Northwestern?
Yeah.
Gone.
Did he really do it?
You don't have to really do it. If somebody says you did,
yeah,
good enough. Maybe I'm going to accuse you of hazing me. I don't have to prove it.
And then there'll be a lot of people that come out of the and say that I also hazed
I
him.
remember when Mark hazed me. I've been hazed.
Mark hazed me back in 2012.
2012. I remember in Memphis one time. He was really mean to me.
It's first shift fun and information in the morning, combined with the radio shopping show to save you money. And you get it right here on WRMN AM 1410, WRMN 1410 Radio on Facebook, and WRMN1410.com.
Looking for a place to try for breakfast or lunch? You'll find a gem of a restaurant with amazing food and great prices at the Tripleberry Cafe, 435 Angela Lane in Crystal Lake. For breakfast, try Tripleberry's strawberry cheesecake French toast, ribeye steak and eggs, or carnitas skillets. At lunch, there's the AM burger or Chipotle chicken BLT. There's delicious homemade cream of mushroom soup. For tasty home cooking, Tripleberry Cafe is the place to be. Visit tripleberrycafe.com.
Rooted in their family Mexican history, churros are made daily with love. Churros and Chocolate at 2533 West Algonquin Road has churros made from family recipes with care and fresh each day with delicious fillings. There's also the Frida Cafe where you can relax and catch up with a friend while having a warm drink. Try Churros and Chocolate specialty churros, the churro sundae, or take home a churro cake. Visit churros, the letter Y, chocolateinc.com.
Everyone has a community to lean on. A neighborhood, school, kids' teams, where you worship, work out, or any other place or group where you choose to belong. Communities can provide support when you need it, and even when you don't know you do. Like when it comes to preventing underage drinking and other substance use. You've talked with your kids and shared clear expectations, but you're not with them every minute. Your community members, friends and relatives, teachers and coaches, faith leaders, and other important adults in your kids' lives can be your eyes, ears, and a supportive influence when you're not around, reinforcing your messages with your kids and alerting you to warning signs of underage drinking or other substance use. So talk with your kids about these issues and involve the members of your community to help keep your kids safe, because when you talk, they hear you.
And we're back. I hope you're enjoying this edition of Out to Lunch. If you're watching on YouTube, you just saw the Coopers Hill Cheese Roll and Wake ceremony, which I believe is in England, where they roll a piece of cheese down a hill, and then everybody basically rolls down the hill and to find the cheese and to get that cheese. And it just seems like a bunch of nonsense that I am completely behind, and it just looks like tomfoolery and hilariousness. Cooper's Hill cheese rolling in wake. And he also saw a funny cake video, which if you're a big internet person, you know, you've probably seen this before. Or even on Netflix, there's a show, I believe, that they have, it's called Is It Cake? And it's just things like they're getting really good at making fake objects. Like, for example, there's a shoe cake. It looks just like a dress shoe, and then they cross cut it, and it's like some red velvet cake. It's really cool. But there was a funny video where this guy is just like, he doesn't know what isn't cake then after that. So he's grabbing it, he's second guessing everything. He grabs his can and starts squeezing it, and cake comes out, and then it's like he grabs his like thigh and starts pulling cake out. It's pretty funny. Daniel Spencer is the guy who made that. Check him out on TikTok and all that stuff. Just want to give him the props. Hilarious, dude. Funny stuff. And today we are being chill. We're chilling within home and homes and studios, and trying to keep cool because it is super, super hot. Yeah, we're reading some of Thomas Paine's Common Sense, which you can find online if you're so inclined. And we will start here with the second part of Monarchy and Hereditary Succession. Mankind being originally equals in the order of creation, the equality could only be destroyed by some subsequent circumstance. The distinctions of rich and poor may in a great measure be accounted for, and that without having recourse to harsh, ill-sounding names of oppression and of avarice. Oppression is often the consequence, but seldom or never the means of riches. And though avarice will preserve a man from being necessitously poor, it generally makes him too timorous to be wealthy. Timorous. So let's just take a pause and look up what timorous is, because this was written over 200 years ago, and the verbiage that people use is way different. So timorous means showing or suffering from nervousness, fear, or lack of confidence. Wow. So yeah, I just kind of displayed that by Googling what timorous was. But yeah, again, reading Thomas Paine's Common Sense, something not too common, it would seem these days. I would argue that common sense would include privacy, especially to the effect of the golden rule, where like if you would like something to be private about your personal life, you'd probably, someone else would probably want the same thing. So maybe we're the generation that has to display that for the first time in the internet age, because it seems like a no holds barred kind of crazy scenario that we're in right now as far as surveillance and everything. But that's a different topic for a different time. I'm sure the Founding Fathers would have something to say about that. But here we go back into of monarchy and hereditary succession. And here we go. But there is another and greater distinction for which no truly natural or religious reason can be assigned, and that is the distinction of men into kings and subjects. Male and female are the distinctions of nature, good and bad the distinctions of heaven. But now the race of men came into the world so exalted above the rest, and distinguished like some new species, is worth inquiring into, and whether they are the means of happiness or misery of mankind. In early ages of the world, according to the scripture chronology, there were no kings. the consequence of which was there were no wars. In the pride of kings, which throws mankind into confusion, Holland, without a king, hath enjoyed more peace for its last century than any of the monarchical governments in Europe. Antiquity favors the same remark. For the quiet and rural lives of the past patriarchs hath a happy something in them, which vanishes away when we become the history of, oh, wow. Okay. Government by kings, and again, this is history. It's. I'm not saying that this is 100% accurate to today's times. That it's the best opinion to have, but a lot of it is kind of common sense. And you know, the world's changed a lot for the better since these times. And I think what I like to do personally is when someone has bad opinion historically, I like to give them the benefit of context, and it goes both ways as far as you know, if this was a book, you know, and maybe I should do some Frederick Douglass, a great American hero and historical figure. If I was reading his biography, which I do have a audio copy version of, which I listen to at times, he might say some stuff that would be kind of controversial as well, as far as morality and stuff. But you know, context. I wouldn't you know, admonish the great Frederick Douglass for maybe having some harsh opinions about some things. So, in digression, I'll continue to read this. Government by kings was first introduced into the world by the heathens, from whom the children of Israel copied the custom. It was the most prosperous invention of the devil ever, set on foot for the promotion of idolatry. The heathens paid divine honors to their deceased kings, and the Christian's world hath improved on the plan, by doing the same to their living ones. How impious is the title of sacred majesty applied to a worm, who in the midst of his splendor is crumbling into dust. That's how a lot of the lower class gets treated. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this version of Out to Lunch. I sure have. I'm grateful for the freedom to speak my mind as an American. Grateful for days off, for having this great job at WRMN. Thankful for the platform to be able to spew this the stuff that just pops into my brain. I'm grateful for Robin Williams' awesome contribution to life, love, pursuing happiness, and just getting it, being a flag. Go out there and be a flag.
Clocking out? Drive home with the Drive Time Deal with Matt McNeil on WRMN 1410 AM every weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. I bring you the hottest deals in town, the most intriguing stories, and the tracks that take the edge off rush hour. Tune in on 1410 AM. Catch us on YouTube Live at WRMN Radio